Hey, it's Omaralexis, but you can call me Lex. Today I want to talk about something the media has kind of been ignoring in regards to coronavirus, and that's mental health. Specifically, mental health and self-isolation and all the impacts stemming from it. So this video is 5 tips that I've put together to help you navigate maintaining and protecting your mental health in isolation. I recently saw a video on YouTube put out by Dr. Donnelly Snipes, who runs a YouTube page where she discusses all of the mental health counselor toolbox tips needed to be a more effective counselor. She was talking about how coronavirus is not only a disease that's affecting us physically, but the quarantines and isolations resulting from the pandemic is something that will ultimately have long-term mental health effects. One fact that stood out to me from Dr. Snipes' analysis was, for the majority of people, 10 days in isolation can really lead to some long-term post-traumatic stress effects. Now, these are triggered by a variety of things happening with not only how the media handles the quarantine and isolation and the virus, but also how the government handles it. A lot of the issues that stem from isolation really come back to people's ability to feel comfortable in their homes, find ways to keep themselves occupied, and feel secure with different needs such as food and hygiene being met while in isolation. I'll plug the link to her video, but I think it's incredibly relevant and the media is not really talking about it as much as they should be. So I've put together 5 tips that I think have been working for me personally in terms of protecting my mental health. Because when you have so much time spent alone with yourself, that's something I don't think a lot of people can really do, being alone with yourself. And that's incredibly important, especially for someone like me that lives by himself in Los Angeles. So tip number 1. I'd say this is something you've heard a billion times over, either from your companies or from your friends or from any social media post, but it's to stay connected. When you're in isolation, you crave some sort of social interaction. Now, being in self-isolation does not mean actually isolating yourself from any sort of contact. You don't have to detach yourself from society in order to stay healthy. Mental health is incredibly important as well. So staying connected and leveraging social media as a lever to use so that you can stay connected with family and friends and still have conversations is important. Getting that face-to-face contact through applications like Skype and Zoom and FaceTime is gonna be paramount to preserving your mental health. Schedule a happy hour. Schedule a wine night with your friends. Have dinner together with someone. I just went on a virtual date. There are totally new and creative ways that you can leverage virtual technology to still stay connected. Tip number 2 is kind of an offshoot of tip number 1 in that it's important to stay connected, but it's even more important to check in with yourself. Now, I tie this one to staying connected because for me personally, I found myself getting a little addicted to the social media. My phone actually informed me that my usage activity, specifically for social media, has skyrocketed ever since the quarantine began. That makes sense because I am leveraging the technology as a way of staying connected with friends. Personally, I found myself going onto social media for all the wrong reasons. This is probably a can of worms in and of itself, and I probably shouldn't even mention it, but one of the big draws that I found pulling me into getting on Instagram in the first place wasn't to stay connected to my friends. It was really more to satisfy my curiosity in a particular guy on Instagram, to the point that I was kind of impulsive and stalkery because I was opening up Instagram for the intention of seeing what he's up to. It just is not healthy from a mental health perspective to be doing that. And I've been cognizant of that and asking myself, why are you using social media so much? Are you truly staying in contact with family and friends? Or are you really just using it to try and get attention from this guy that has no interest in you? And unfortunately for me, it was the latter. What I ended up doing was just muting the stories. Those are the types of questions that I encourage you to ask yourself during quarantine while you're trying to stay connected and leverage social media. Are you using the social media for the right purpose, or are you just using it as a way of escaping your reality? Are you using it as a way of vying for the attention of other people? And are you using it to just waste time? Tip number 3 is also pretty obvious. Establish a routine. One thing that Dr. Donnelly Snipes mentioned in her analysis for Counselor Toolbox was establishing a routine is paramount to maintaining all your semblances of normal everyday life. My own routine is something like I wake up at 7 in the morning, I'll hop in the shower, brush my teeth, do my hair, I'll get ready for my day as if it's a normal day. So I'll get fully dressed. I will wear jeans and a button-up shirt, and I won't wear shoes because I'm in my apartment and this is a no shoes apartment. For me personally, getting ready is something that triggers me mentally to start my day. If I just stay in pajamas all day, I'll feel groggy and I'll feel tired and I'll feel lazy, and it won't really get me motivated or energized for my day. Getting into my cute outfit for the day is something I do for myself. It's not really something I do for other people to see. So if you can find little things that you can establish in your routine to help you stay energized and help you stay focused on what you need to do that day, I think that'll be critical to maintaining your mental health during this period of isolation. Tip number 4 is to exercise. It's incredibly important to stay active. I think this is just a broader overall mental health recommendation in that exercise, triggers the production of dopamines and things in your body. When you're isolated, it becomes really hard to really do exercise. Because for me, the way that I framed exercise in my life was I'm gonna head to the gym and that's my dedicated space for getting in the zone and working out. When I go to the gym physically, I'm already in a state of mind where I want to lift weights and go running and do these sorts of things. And once I exit that context, it's away from my purview. When you're at home, where you expect to relax and to rest, it becomes pretty difficult to stick to those routines. Emphasizing ways to exercise, I think, is super important. And some exercises that I've been maintaining while I've been in isolation have been yoga. There are some really great on-demand yoga programs. One was recommended to me recently by one of my friends on Instagram, so I am staying connected. Core Power Yoga. They have Core Power Yoga on demand. I'll provide a link in the description below, but that's an incredible set of classes at different experience levels that allow you to just follow along and do your stretches, your different alignments for rejuvenation, as well as for a little bit of a sweat. Another exercise program that I recently learned about was Pop Sugar Fitness. That particular recommendation is something I actually got from another YouTube channel, so I will plug their information. Crescent Moon Reads, you should check her channel out. These are workout programs that do not require any kind of equipment. There are some workouts that do require some equipment, but for the most part, you'll find something that fits you. Like I myself, I don't have any equipment at home. Like I said, to me, the gym is my dedicated place to go and do a workout. So my apartment doesn't really have a ton of workout equipment. I don't have dumbbells and I don't have any mats or anything. Being able to do at-home workouts with the things I have here, like my chairs and my tables and everything, is super critical. And my very last and 5th recommendation would be to set aside projects for yourself. This isn't only to keep your mind occupied, but it's also to sort of keep your creative juices flowing. If you're like me and you work 9 to 5 during the weeks, even if you're working from home in isolation, it becomes very easy to just sink into that work and expend all of your mental energy, running analyses and doing reports and answering emails and putting out fires. I like to preserve a bit of my mental energy by the end of the day, even outside of isolation, so that I can go and use that energy to work on a project that's for me. Because if I spend my entire day answering questions and doing things for other people, that is a big drain on my own personal energy and motivation. So I really encourage you to focus and find a project for yourself. Something as simple as painting or writing or designing imagery, something of that nature that really allows you to just learn a new skill or train yourself in an area that you're interested in. I think is super critical to maintaining your mental health during this period, because you need to give your mind something to chew on other than your 9 to 5 reports or how crazy coronavirus news is. So those are my 5 recommendations. I really hope that they help you during this period of isolation. They're super simple, but I think having that context and understanding that there are other people out there who are dealing with pretty much the same thing, hopefully those tips help, and I will talk to you later. If you enjoyed this video or if it's helped you at all, please make sure to drop a like, a comment, let me know what you think, but also make sure to subscribe. It really helps. Thank you so much. Talk to you next time.